Hi, my name is Pratham. We recently read a book called Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I chose a topic from the book about rich versus poor, and my speech title is Great Battle Between Money Income Gap. Robert Louis Stevenson says that sometimes good people can also do some bad things which cannot be imagined. From the book Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the author tries to say that the split is not only between good and bad person, but the split is in the society between rich and poor. The strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde shows the duality of human nature. One of the famous English proverb about dual personality is, every coin has two sides. Most people have two faces. One, which they show to other people, and one who they really are. Just like the two different sides of a person in the book, poor and rich side of the society is shown and how the society influenced the people living inside the society. One of the quote from the book which shows this is, the quote tries to explain that Dr. Jekyll, who is wealthy and rich, is shown good, and Mr. Hyde, who is bad and ugly, is shown poor. This stereotype is going on for many years. As mentioned in the book, Dr. Jekyll likes to be more Hyde than Jekyll. He likes how Hyde is free and can do whatever he wants. One of the quote from the text Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is, this quote tries to explain that happiness always lies when you are rich and happy, and not when you are poor. We all know that every person dreams to become rich and happy, which depicts that rich side is always heavier on the poor side. The commonly held inaccurate belief is that rich people are always good and poor people are always bad and dangerous. A quote which supports this claim is from John Steinbeck's book, The Grave of Wrath, which states that this passage states that if a person feels poor and if he thinks that by buying something worth million will make him look rich, he is wrong, because he will always feel poor, as that greediness depicts that he always wanted to be on the good side than on the bad side. This argument explains that why always one side is dominant on the other side of that person. But all what is said is not true. The opposing claim may argue that it is not the society which makes a person rich or poor, but it depends on what a person's character is. It depends how a person feels and what he or she thinks. In the text, it is shown that Jekyll is rich and happy person through parties for his friend, but he was the one who disagreed with Dr. Lanyon on scientific discovery. He decided for himself what is right and he took the call. In Jekyll and Hyde text, it is mentioned that this statement states that friendship grew through time, but it depends on person how he wants to take it further. Lanyon was Jekyll's best friend, but due to some disagreements and Jekyll's different thinking, their friendship broke. It depends on person's choice, not on society. In a book called Equal is Unfair, written by Yaron Brook, it has a quote which goes like, the quote shows that in whatever situation you are, either you are rich or poor, you should try as hard as you can to make that situation better for yourself. It depends on what a person wants and how or she perceive it. But a society does influence on what a person thinks, because that person is living in that society. He or she is living in that society's atmosphere, so that will influence his thoughts or point of views, how he thinks. Stories like Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and many more are based on split between societies and shows what the problems are. Sure, there are many things which depends on a person, as he is the only one who is going to eventually carry out that act. But society does play a major role, as it makes that person to think to or do that way. The split in the society needed to be changed and not the person. Respect everyone and every profession. No profession or person is greater or lower. Everybody is equal. Thank you for listening to my speech. Have a nice day.